Iran's leader Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei on Monday ordered Iranian officials to make preparations to increase the country's uranium enrichment capacity to as high as 190,000 SU.
سازمان انرژی هسته‌ای موظف است سریعاً آمادگی‌های لازم رو برای رسیدن به 190,000 سو در چارچوب برجام فعلا در چارچوب برجام مقدمات رو و آمادگی ها رو سریعاً فراهم بکنه و برخی مقدمات دیگر را که رئیس جمهور محترم دستور آن را دادند از همین فردا آغاز کند.
He was referring to US sanctions that were imposed on Iran after President Donald Trump pulled Washington out of the 2015 nuclear deal. Iran believes, and Europe along with China and Russia acknowledges, that the sanctions violate both the letter and spirit of the deal. Iran and the P5+1 group of countries, including the US, signed the deal based on the provision that Tehran would accept restrictions on its nuclear work in return for sanctions relief.
Iran has every right to develop its nuclear capacities. The government of Iran has repeatedly said that their nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. There is no reason to think that that is not the case. Now, they are accelerating their nuclear development because the United States has withdrawn from the agreement, has violated this international agreement, and therefore Iran is not in a position to know what's going to happen next.
Ayatollah Khamenei also rejected Western calls for Iran to abandon its missile program. Iran's leader said the missiles are a key component of Iran's deterrence and that making such demands of the Islamic Republic is aimed at blunting its strengths. The European signatories to the nuclear deal on the surface back the agreement, but are on the same page as the US regarding Iran's missile capability. Some observers believe that France, Germany and Britain cannot have their cake and eat it. This means they cannot tie the Iranian missile program to the nuclear deal without undermining the agreement, as the two issues are totally separate.
The role of Europe is vital in preserving the Iran nuclear deal, JCPOA. The United States has withdrawn from the agreement, which has made it so that the European nations have to figure out what they're going to do next. European nations are now trading with Iran, which is to their benefit and to Iran's benefit. It helps the economies of both nations, helps the people of the European nations and of Iran.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has visited Europe with the aim of driving a wedge between Iran and the nuclear deal signatories that try to keep the accord. Netanyahu is pursuing the same strategy to weaken Iran's position, playing the victim, demonizing Iran, and trying to turn Europe, China and Russia against Iran. He has managed to persuade Europe to criticize Iran over its missile program and regional role, but has thus far failed to convince them to ditch the nuclear deal. Europe believes that the agreement is working and there is no alternative to it. Europe, China and Russia aside, Iran has its own conditions to remain in the accord. It says it will do so if the nuclear deal benefits the nation.
حرفهای بعضی از دولت‌های اروپایی اینجور برمیاد که اینها توقع دارن ملت ایران هم تحریم‌ها رو تحمل کنه، با تحریم‌ها دست و پنجه نرم کنه و هم از فعالیت هسته‌ای خود که نیاز قطعی آینده کشور است دست بکشه و همین محدودیت‌هایی رو که بر او تحمیل کرده اند این محدودیت‌ها رو ادامه بده.
The agreement, known as the JCPOA, may be far from hanging by a thread, but still hangs in the balance.